This is James Randi, and you're listening to The Skeptic Zone.
Welcome to The Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason. Here are your hosts, Richard Saunders and Stefan Soiker.
Stefan, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it.
It's just unbelievable.
It's the Skeptic Zone, and I can't believe it.
Well, you're a good skeptic then, aren't you?
I am. Look, after 700 episodes, I better be a bloody good skeptic. That's all I can say.
That's right. But if you cut through the truth, you'll find that it actually is 700 episodes. There's no conspiracy. You can count them. They're all online.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. You can go back, and some people do. They go back and listen to the back
every
catalog.
single one. Yeah. I think it takes approximately 700 years to listen to them all because you no that's not,
this is it, Stefan. This is it. You know, the Skeptic Zone. Yeah. We just turn on the microphone. I'm here, folks. I'm here in the very office, the very studio where we recorded episode one in
699 episodes ago. That's unbelievable.
It is, and we thought, it was the next. What's the word? It's not reincarnation. It was the next
incarnation. Reincarnation. That's another episode.
It was the next incarnation because we did stuff before. We did the Skeptic Tank at Net FM.
Net FM back in 2001, like over 20 years ago. We were podcasting before podcasting was a word.
We were doing it. Where in Net FM, you were in the studios in the heart of Sydney. I'd come in every week and we'd do a skeptical bed.
Yeah, a whole lot. We have guests in stuff, and probably
right.
some that you've had back on the show since. And then after a few years, we decided that we should, it actually could have legs because when the podcasting thing came along,
that's right.
we thought, well, we do that.
We do that. We do that.
We do that. Yeah, other people didn't even know what it was, but we were already doing it. And so
we did a few different shows, and we did a video show for a while called the Skeptic Tank Vodcast, or the Tank Vodcast.
The Tank Vodcast, that's
I'd
right.
come here. We'd set up the camera over there. We'd both sit there and say, "Hey, welcome to the Tank Vodcast."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but I think we're
over that.
I don't think we're not attractive enough to do a podcast.
No, we couldn't do that. And the work. I mean, there's a lot of work in putting this together. But for the work, I had to put a video show together.
It's too much. All the titling and everything.
And I tell you, one of our reporters in the very early days before this show was you remember Michael Wallahan.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you know that he actually died last year.
Oh my gosh, no. Don't say of COVID.
No. It was another condition. I won't go into details, but
that's
terribly
very
sad because he was a lovely bloke. And on episode 700, I particularly remember Michael Wallahan because he helped start this. You know, he was there supporting and being one of our reporters before this show.
Yeah.
So that was very sad to lose Michael Wallahan completely out of the blue, completely unexpected.
Oh gosh.
And sadly, and being 700, we will remember too that last year we lost Shelly Stockton, another reporter of ours.
Oh,
I know, right?
Oh, my heart is breaking here. I thought I was here to celebrate it. Well, we're actually getting a bit.
No, it is a celebration, but we owe these people a lot. You know, people who have helped us along the way and been part of the Skeptic Zone podcast, and associated shows. So, Shelley and Michael, we are remembering you on the 700th episode. But what a time to be around, Stefan. Oh. I mean, we couldn't imagine because, you can't predict the future.
No.
But the state of the world as we record is just bonkers.
Yeah, and we'd have to say that really a lot of what's been going on in the world and the way things seem to be going in all the directions that we don't want them to go in is kind of a result of what this show is all about, which is trying to keep things on track with facts and truth and science and verifiable information.
Yes.
And it's become this sort of world where everyone's just talking crap all the time.
It is.
And opinions matter more than facts. And what we've always done on this show, at least why I got very excited about it before I got too busy and went off and did other things, was the fact that you can try to hold people to account and try and actually drill down and say, is, that's what the skeptical hat
That's
is.
the skeptical hat.
What's really going on here? What are they really trying to say?
Yeah.
And it ends up, it's a lot of vested interest. It's a lot of people stand to gain from fooling people.
And we've seen in the last 2 years with COVID is how readily or how ready people are to jump on a bandwagon.
Yeah.
So they get this idea that there's a conspiracy. Somebody's put it on the internet, so it must be true. It sort of half makes sense because their science isn't up to scratch. And what's the result? You get thousands of people marching in the streets helping to spread COVID. That's what you get.
And look, I think sometimes it's based on a look underneath all the sort of craziness that everyone goes on about and all their opinions on Facebook and things. There is there's a skepticism or cynicism even about what our governments are doing. So it's easier to sort of use that as the wedge to get into all of the conspiracy theories, because you say, well, you can't trust your government.
Can't trust the government.
Well, you kind of can't.
Well, I agree with you. You kind of can't.
But it doesn't mean that you can trust everyone else who wants to get into your head and mess with your mind.
And there's a sort of a magical threshold where, okay, I think we can trust the government in this situation, just with caution.
Or we can look through a skeptical lens and say, yes, well, there's the government and there's the science, and yes, they're playing politics, of course, but there are scientists as well. So and you got to look at it on balance, and then you'll find that somewhere in there is probably an optimal path rather than taking us down the path to God knows where.
It's as ever, Stefan. It's complex. It's complex. The world is complex.
Well, here's the latest thing I heard.
Here we go.
We're talking about Lismore actually, because my mother lives up there, and she's just, unfortunately she's up the hill a bit, but it's just crazy there.
Now we're talking about, for the international listeners, we've had in parts of this state and parts of Queensland, the state to the north, the worst flooding ever recorded.
Yeah. 2 meters higher than the record kind of thing.
And it's happening right now as we record. Yeah. It's another and I just drove over here from the Skeptic Zone studios to your studios, and it was just bucketing down. And the streets are already flooding.
That's right. They're talking about floods in Sydney. But yes, going back to Lismore, my mum is involved with some very, very smart and very vibrant retired people in the 80s and 90s, and they have great discussions about politics and philosophy. But some of their children are finding it very easy to believe in some of the most outrageous claims. The last one that I heard was that Bill Gates has found a way to make graphene nanotech razor blades and then put them into vaccinations. So, and then these graphene, the one atom thick razor blades, these razor blades, after they vaccinate you, they go through your body and like a ninja slice all your blood cells to pieces, and then you slowly die.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
That's what, and Bill Gates is on that one. And people are believing it.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that being in the skeptical biz for 20 years has taught me, that people will believe just
pretty
about
much anything. I know.
I mean, people listen to this show every week; they believe it's good, right?
Yeah, but that does it. I guess in a way, that's why we're celebrating 700 episodes, because we are kind of holding on to some sort of a baton and going, let's just keep this rolling. Let's go to 1,000.
Let's go to 1,000
because there's a need for it.
There is a need for it. I really think there is a need for it. And people, the feedback I get, people love listening to the show. They listen to it every week. It's part of their week. They're driving. They're doing the dishes, doing the jogging, whatever the case. They listen with their family, their kids in the car. And it means a lot to them, which is great for us, because we think, what we say is entertaining and people get educated and they learn lots of stuff.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, and, we thank the listeners very much, and especially those listeners who contribute with Patreon or PayPal.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But yeah, 700 episodes. I mean, it's getting to the sort of gargantuan stage now, where you almost you wouldn't even want to go back and listen to them all, because it's just too much.
There's too much.
But it is. You just got to keep on it, because things are evolving so quickly. So speaking of which, what's happening in this episode 700?
I'm glad you asked. Well, I haven't put it all together yet, because we're sort of recording this a few days before, but we have Adrian Hill from Canada, our reporter, looking at the mysteries of the number 700. Lots of strange things about the number 700 in history and all sorts of things like that. And we also have the Trove segment this week is a little different. I'm actually reading from a magazine called Southern Crossings, Australia's New Age magazine from 1993. Some of the
For 1993.
the ads they had in for Reiki masters and crystals and
I remember that time. It was amazing. There was like entire shops dedicated to just crystals and dream catchers and things.
There
still are.
I
thought humans had evolved a little bit since then. I know I've evolved. I used to love dream catchers. I thought they were very cool.
You can still get them. So why don't we, you and I will run downstairs, we'll open a bottle of champagne to celebrate 700. And while we do that, Stefan, I hope you at home enjoy The Skeptic Zone.
Episode 700.
This is Susan Gerbic from the Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia project. I'd like to congratulate Richard Saunders and the Skeptic Zone on their 700th episode. The Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia project has attracted many volunteers from the listeners of the Skeptic Zone, helping us to write almost 2,000 Wikipedia pages, which have been viewed over 100 million times. Thank you, Richard, for your tireless work in supporting the scientific skepticism community. I encourage listeners to do as I have done for years, which is to become a financial donor to help support your work for the next 100 episodes. Thank you.
You can count on Adrian with Adrian Hill.
Hello, everybody. Since this is the Skeptic Zone's 700th episode, I decided to see if there was anything interesting that I could find out about the number 700. And I wasn't disappointed, as usual. Get ready for some math facts, more Barnum statements, and the significance of 3 and 7 as it relates to 700. I will save the silly stuff to the end, and I will try to finish this segment in 700 seconds or less. That's 11 minutes and 40 seconds in case you were wondering. I will start with some trivia involving the 700s. Did you know that Boeing, the airline company, has used every palindromic number between 700 and 800 as the model numbers of the airplanes, except for 797. Think 707, 717, which used to be the DC-9, 727, the well-known 737 and 747, and so on. Pat Robertson's 700 Club has run on the Christian Broadcasting Network since 1966. National Geographic made a documentary film called 700 Sharks, which has footage of one of the, quote, largest shark frenzies on the planet, end quote. And then there's my favorite. 700 is the sum of the consecutive prime numbers 167, 173, 179, and 181. And apparently, 700 is an angel number. According to Women's Day magazine, an angel number is a 3- or 4-digit number that has a repetitive sequence, such as getting a bakery bill for $8.88. Most sites give Pythagoras the credit for angel numbers. However, according to subconsciousservant.com, in the early 2000s, the term was coined by a woman named Doreen Virtue, who claimed she had studied under Pythagoras in a previous life. She wrote several books about angel therapy, and yes, she is a psychologist, and produced and sold several decks of tarot cards. But her website at doreenvirtue.com states that in 2017, she was born again and has renounced all her New Age beliefs. This, apparently, has not stopped people from buying her books and tarot cards and believing in angel numbers. The website, mindbodygreen.com, states that angel numbers usually show up in groups of 3. Maybe that's the inspiration for the name, Mind, Body, Green? Who knows? Because we all know that 3 brings luck. Or was it bad luck? You'll have to go back and listen to my segments on 3s. So, you might look at a clock and see it is 7 o'clock, hop into your car, and the vehicle in front of you has 700 on its license plate. Then you go to the store and buy, of course, 50.8 liters of Canadian maple syrup, and it costs $700. And yes, I did price that out. Angelnumber.org says if this happens to you, then your guardian angel is trying to communicate that you have, get ready, quote, potential, new opportunities and choices, closures and new beginnings, spirituality and the road to spiritual enlightenment, thoughtfulness, psychic and emphatic gifts and abilities, knowledge, philosophy, learning, studying, infinity and eternity, wholeness and oneness, phases and cycles, the energy of the universe and the creator, inner wisdom and intuition, end quote. I think they only left out quantum to complete the word salad. And how is this meaning found? It is based on the fact that our good friend 7 starts the number off, and it is influenced by having 2 zeros following it. Recall from my episode on 7 that the number is all about knowledge, learning, wisdom, etc. And apparently 0 is all about infinity and eternity, which is not what I learned in my math classes. It symbolizes the, quote, God force, universal force, potential, choices and new opportunities, endings and closures, and new beginnings, end quote. Well, I think they have everything covered to maximize the Barnum effect. And did you know that, as claimed by thesecretofthetarot.com, having an angel number 700 is important for your love life? The angel is asking you to be, quote, introspective and contemplative. There's much you can achieve in your relationships as well as your general life, end quote. Advice that I'm sure will change you. Angel numbers seem to be readily available on the internet up to 10,000. After this, they must have a pattern, be all the same number or palindromic, such as 77,777, which angelnumber.org declares the owner of this number has, quote, incredible tenacity in achieving their goals, end quote. It is good to know that as Richard leads the zone into the 700s, that his guardian angel will keep him enlightened and inspired. And as it is now 7 o'clock here in Canada, it's time for me to go upstairs and try to organize the 700 individual socks that have lost their mates in the laundry void, and I'm sure many of you out there know what I'm talking about. Only one more 700 needed for me to find my angel. Until next time, this is Adrienne Hill.
Hey, this is Brian Dunning from Skeptoid.com. Congratulations to Richard Saunders for 700 episodes of the podcast Skeptics with a K, what is it? Congratulations for 700 episodes.
Hey, this is Brian. Can you look up and see what's the name of that Australian podcast? No, not that one. I think it's about cats. He talks about his cats a lot.
Congratulations for 700 episodes of Planet Maynard, Australia's leading podcast about cats. Now, that cannot be right. What is...
Try looking in the top 10 podcasts in Australia. Nothing? Try top 100? Well, just keep scrolling down.
Congratulations for 700 episodes of The Skeptic Zone, Australia's leading podcast about cats and Maynard. It's a fine effort, Richard, truly, a very good try. Congratulations for keeping Australia skeptical for, how many years? 2008. He should have more than 700. I guess it's not all that good of an effort. Congratulations to Richard Saunders and The Skeptic Zone for 700 episodes of skeptical goodness, keeping things real for the bottom half of the world since 2008, with many more years yet to come. Yeah, that's just as good as it's going to get. Just send it. If he doesn't like it, whatever.
Hi, this is Rob Palmer. Beginning in 2016, the U.S. and Canadian governments claimed there were ongoing attacks against their embassy personnel in Havana, Cuba, by unknown forces using unknown weapons. Over the next 5 years, the scope of these attacks, initially called unexplained health incidents, brought in to include government personnel and families stationed in a large number of countries around the world, and even at the White House in Washington, D.C. itself. Reported symptoms of these attacks, which have come to be called Havana syndrome, include hearing loud noises, ear pain, feeling pressure or vibration in the head, visual problems, vertigo, nausea, cognitive difficulties, and even brain trauma. The weaponry blamed has been diverse and includes ultrasound, infrasound, pulsed electromagnetic energy, microwaves, pesticides, and bioweapons. But are any such attacks actually happening? Or is this a case of political blunders, sloppy science, and bad journalism? On the 19th of March at 2 p.m. Philadelphia time, I'll explore these questions from a skeptical perspective during a live-streamed interview for the Philadelphia Association of Critical Thinking. That's fact. I'll be questioning mass psychogenic illness expert Robert Bartholomew, author of the book, Havana Syndrome, Mass Psychogenic Illness and the Real Story Behind the Embassy Mystery and Hysteria. You can register for the webinar at tinyurl.com/Havana interview. And for those of you who can't make it live, you can watch it about a week later on YouTube at that same link.
And now, a reading from the Book of Tim with Tim Mendham.
Hi, my name's Tim Mendham. I'm the editor of the Australian Skeptics magazine, The Skeptic, and Executive Officer of Australian Skeptics Inc. And today I'll be reading from The Skeptic magazine from March 2021, Volume 41, Number 1. And this is from the section of the magazine that we call What Goes Around, in which case we find some obscure little fact and then work our way through various connections back to where we came from. So, today we're looking at designs, accidents, villainy, and stupidity. We start with defensive design. This is the practice of planning for contingencies in the design stage of a project or undertaking. Essentially, it's the practice of anticipating all possible ways that an end user could misuse a device and designing the device so as to make such misuse impossible, idiot-proof, or at least to minimise the negative consequences. For example, if it is important that a plug is inserted into a socket in a particular orientation, the socket and plug should be designed so that it is physically impossible to insert the plug incorrectly. In software engineering, it is called defensive programming. Murphy's Law is a well-known statement of the need for defensive design and also of its ultimate limitations. Murphy's Law is typically stated as anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And the interesting fact is there actually was a Murphy. Edward Aloysius Murphy Jr., 1918 to 1990, was an American aerospace engineer who worked on safety-critical systems. He went to the US Military Academy at West Point, graduating in 1940, and undertook pilot training with the US Army Corps in 1941. During World War II, he served in the Pacific, India, China, and Burma, achieving the rank of Major. After the war, he became an R&D officer at the Wright Air Development Center of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It was while here that he became involved in the high-speed rocket sled experiments. For the trivial-minded, that's USAF Project MX-981-1940. This was the system, of course, which you were training astronauts to see, to put them up with G-forces and things like that. As featured in the Indiana Jones film number 4, I think. Yes. According to the book A History of Murphy's Law by author Nick T. Spark, differing recollections years later by various participants make it impossible to pinpoint who first coined the term Murphy's Law. The law's name supposedly stems from an attempt to use new measurement devices developed by Murphy. The phrase was coined in adverse reaction to something Murphy said when his devices failed to perform and was eventually cast into its present form prior to a press conference some months later. The first ever, of many, given by Dr. John Stapp, a US Air Force colonel and flight surgeon in the 1950s. Murphy himself was reportedly unhappy with the commonplace interpretation of his law, which is seen as capturing the essential cussedness of inanimate objects. Murphy regarded the law as crystallising a key principle of defensive design, in which one should always assume worst-case scenarios. Murphy was said by his son to have regarded the many jocular versions of the law as ridiculous, trivial, and erroneous, such as a book compilation of various jokes related to Murphy's Law published in Arthur Bloch's Murphy's Law Book 2, More Reasons Why Things Go Wrong. His attempts to have the law taken more seriously were unsuccessful. One quote submitted to Bloch's book was originally attributed to a Robert J. Hanlon of Scranton, Pennsylvania. His submission was given wider publicity via some later publication, and his suggested quote became known as Hanlon's Razor, which states that, "Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity." Little is known of Hanlon. In any case, some have attributed the quote to science fiction author Robert J. Heinlein, whose story Logic of Empire includes what Heinlein called the devil theory of sociology. You have attributed conditions to villainy that simply result from stupidity. Heinlein joined the US Navy in 1925 and eventually served on the aircraft carrier USS Lexington, working on radio communications on the carrier's aircraft. Much of his writing involved what was then futuristic technology, including The Door into Summer, a novel published in 1957, in which a genius electronics engineer creates general-purpose robots for everyone to use, but is betrayed by a greedy business partner and faithless fiancé, who put him in cold sleep. One of the inventions in the book was Drafting Dan, a precursor of computer-aided design, CAD technology. As a naval officer, writer, and creator of futuristic technology, Heinlein would have been very much aware of the need for defensive design. And that's what goes around from the Skeptic magazine, March 2021, volume 41, number 4. And you can read the Skeptic magazine, virtually every issue we've ever published, for free on our website, skeptics.com.au. Just click on the magazine's tag. And while you're there, you might also like to subscribe to the magazine. Then you can read all these articles even before I read them out.
Hey, these are the guys from the SGU, and we just wanted to say happy 701st episode to the Skeptic Zone, our good friend Richard Saunders, all of our good friends in Australia who work on skepticism and the Skeptic Zone podcast. Congratulations, 701 is quite a milestone. That number is very meaningful.
701, yes, Steve. 701 episods.
Yes.
That's the target.
That's the one, correct?
Not the 700th episode. We're talking about...
No, 700th one.
Episode 701 is what... Richard's been talking about that episode for a decade.
Yeah. We're so proud of you, Richard. Way to go.
Richard, you're going to get this tattooed on you now, right?
701. Richard, we love you. You're an amazing person, and we are honored to be your friend and co-skeptic.
Congratulations.
Can't wait to see you
done,
guys.
Richard. Yeah, congratulations to everyone who works on the Skeptic Zone. We can't wait to come back down under. We've loved all of our trips there. Maybe once this, pandemic thing is over.
And Richard, I've been meaning to ask you, how hard would it be to make a life-size origami of me? Is this something we could do?
You have to ask him now, Jay.
I was hoping he'd been working on it behind the scenes,
Jay, you don't got to make this about you. This is about the Skeptic Zone.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
That'll be about Jay for episode 1402.
That's right.
Okay.
Looking forward to the
1402nd episode. That's when he'll get it done.
Right.
The next 701 episode.
Congratulations,
Stay safe.
everyone.
We love you.
Congrats.
Bye, guys.
Well done, Skeptic Zone.
It's Maynard here, and I'd like to congratulate the Skeptic Zone podcast on 700 conniptions. No, 700 years. No, 700 episodes. We've had so much fun doing this show over the years. Did you know that the Skeptic Zone team once went into space? That's right, for real. You can hear the adventures of the spaceship Solar Flare by clicking at the link at the bottom of the homepage at skepticzone.tv. Also, don't forget to check out my series on logical fallacies. Yes, they're all there. The appeal to authority, the slippery slope, the no true Scotsman, and my favourite, the gunman on the grassy knoll fallacy. Hey, what's going on? My fire alarm's about to go off.
Hello, Maynard.
Oh, it's a skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet. Do you think you could get a longer title? Got any maple syrup? Actually, you got any maple?
No, but I might have some Japanese pancakes.
Oh, yum. But what are you doing here?
Well, I was just listening to the Skeptic Zone, episode 700, and...
You mean the episode that's playing now? This is all a bit Spaceballs.
I am magical, remember? Anyway, I heard you saying that you did a series on logical fallacies.
Yeah, it might have been me. Remember the Dallas sharpshooter fallacy?
Maynard, it was my friend Michelle Bickersma who did the series on logical fallacies, and it is all available via the link on the Skeptic Zone homepage.
You sure it wasn't me? I thought it was me. I thought it was me right now.
Oh, Maynard. Time for me to go back to my home office. Goodbye.
She smokes a lot. Oh, great. At least my smoke alarm has a good alarm tone.
James Randi once saying to me, "Richard, the New Age is old hat." And I guess by now, by 2021, the New Age is old hat. It promised so much and, frankly, delivered so little. It's been around for a long time, and I, some years ago, in a second-hand shop, came across this magazine, Southern Crossings, Australia's own magazine of the New Age, a guide to transformation through self-awareness. This dates from October 1993. The price of the magazine? $2.95. And it says here it's volume 13, number 5. So I guess this magazine was around for a while. Registered by Australia Post, publication number NBH 4588. So I thought we'd flip through the pages and look at some of the advertising of the New Age way back in 1993. Now, some of the articles in the magazine: The Power Within, an exclusive interview with Louise L. Hay, a how-to of palmistry and hand psychology, The Art of Dowsing, plus how to win a copy of Coral Sea Dreaming. And as you can imagine, which is quite understandable, a lot of this magazine is given over to advertising. A lot of magazines are. That's simply the way of the world. And the first ad we see here, which is on the inside front cover, is Spark Your Life with Radiance. Shaston Biso's Radiance Seminars, I hope I've pronounced that name correctly, present a unique opportunity to learn a dynamic and versatile technique for personal management, safe stress control, and multi-level healing. Multi-level healing. The Radiance Technique, RTR, is an ancient practice dating back 10,000 years and originating in Tibet. It was widely used by other cultures such as ancient Egypt, Greece, China, and India. A hands-on holistic technique, this special art has been preserved intact by the Radiance Technique Associated International for the age of enlightenment, where humanity's future is to wake up to the light within. This dynamic technique is a science and art of accessing universal life energy quick as a flash. Its structure consists of 7 degrees corresponding to the 7 major chakras. I didn't know there were any more. In traditional Oriental fashion, there is one Grand Master who is trained to the highest level 7th degree and carries the responsibility of preserving the purity of the technique. The current 7th degree Grand Master is Dr. Barbara Ray, PhD, who co-founded with the previous Grand Master, Haweo Takata, the only registered not-for-profit association of its kind. And it goes on with more information, and it says here the requirements. Requirements, none. You simply need to be alive. So you cut out a little form and fill in your details. Please reserve my place in the next first-degree seminar. Investment, $195, deposit $50. Location, please circle. Sydney, Canberra, Coffs Harbour, Melbourne, Barnsdale, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Cairns, Gold Coast, Perth, Adelaide, New Zealand. It certainly got around. I wonder whatever happened to this technique. I've never heard about it before. And on the following page, we have another ad here. What's this one? Mary McCarthy, kinesiologist and spiritual healer. Spiritual healing. Spiritual healing is channeling energy from a higher source to stimulate cell growth and restore health. It has a powerful impact on the whole being and assists people in understanding the source of their problems, be they emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual. Spiritual healing aids in dissolving congestion in the body, mind, and etheric systems. Etheric systems. It goes on. I won't read all the ads here, but I'll try to give you a gist of what is available. But this particular one goes on to say, Aura/Spirit Guides/Healing Workshop. Sunday the 5th of September, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cost $60. What a bargain. Also, Crystal Healing Workshop at a similar cost, and Aura Drawing Channeling Healing Workshop. Oh, that one's a bit more expensive. Maybe you need to buy the art supplies, I'm not sure. $85. We don't have to go far to find the next ad here. It's Mackenzie Clay, Reiki Master, author of The Challenge to Teach Reiki and One Step Beyond for Reiki. Invites you to join his classes, Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 at $200 per person for each level. Each takes 1 day. Come and experience Reiki at a 21st century level of consciousness, for you'll love it. You can take this course at a 21st level of consciousness. Well, here we are in the 21st century, and yeah. A few pages on, we have another ad here. Reiki. Reiki is the ancient Tibetan science of accessing pure life force energy. Thousands of people have benefited from Reiki in the areas of healing at all levels, deep relaxation, increased vitality, personal growth, accessing inner wisdom, raised self-esteem, enhancing all other treatments by applying life-giving energy to them. Almost sounds like a medical claim, doesn't it? Having a lifelong technique to heal self and others. Sandra teaches Reiki up to Grand Masters level in Australia and New Zealand. For free public lecture and workshop details, see Telescope. I'm not sure what that means. It must be another publication. And here we have another one, Science of Mind. Change your thinking, change your life. Science of Mind teaches the art and science of successful living. Science, eh? Inspirational talk on spiritual awareness. Healing meditation, Science of the Mind, 12-week course, intro talk, 6th of September. Now what's over the page here? Neville Rowe, internationally known registered therapist and channel, returns to Sydney. He will conduct practitioner training in past life therapy part 1. Learn how to access other lifetimes and release and utilize those energies to create freedom and health in this present life. Enhance your skills as a therapist, learn new skills, and gain greater understanding about the therapeutic possibilities of remembering past lives. Training recommended for both experienced therapists and newcomers alike. Introductory evening seminar, Reincarnation and Past Life Therapy, Thursday, 14th of October, $15. What a bargain. And now a few pages on, and amongst an article here about palmistry and palm reading, including how honest are you? Check your pinky. The little finger, known as the Mercury finger, is connected with communication, verbal, written, and even communication with gods, which was Mercury's mythic role. How generous are they? Are you lucky, rich, or famous? Anyway, here's another ad on this page. Crystals. Crystals for change. Learn how to use crystals as a catalyst for discovery and change in areas of health, relationships, career, business, and personal growth. Workshops covering functions of the various chords, clearing, activating, and programming, meridian and chakra balancing, gem oils, crystals/gems and essential oils, crystal ergonomics, advice for home and business on crystal grids to reduce the amount of environmental interference and enhance communication, reducing conflict and stress and benefit health. Healings with specific techniques to balance chakras and meridians. The body is given the chance to start its own healing process, working through emotional blockages, affecting attitudes, and expanding awareness. Have you ever seen that site? What is it called? The Deepak Chopra quote generator. Sort of reminds me of that. For private consultation and inquiries about workshop, phone Pam Hoeng, acupuncturist, crystal therapist, aromatherapist. And now on page 21, what do we have here? The Light, Medicine of the Future workshop with Jacob Lieberman, OD, PhD. Includes physical/emotional self-healing with light and color, vision improvement techniques for restoring natural eyesight, specialized movement processes for learning how to learn without effort, printed materials to accompany techniques. Dr. Jacob Lieberman is one of the world's leading experts on the therapeutic uses of light and color. He has presented more than 2,000 lectures and seminars throughout the world and has worked with over 20,000 individuals ranging from emotionally/physically traumatized and learning disabled to business executives and gifted world-class athletes. His work integrates Eastern and Western wisdom, scientific research, clinical experience, and intensive self-development. Light and color. I seem to remember over the years at Mind Body Spirit, Mind Body Wallet Festival seeing various machines that look like something out of a 1966 episode of Star Trek with lights flashing and so on. Here's another one. Here's another one towards the back of the magazine, so it's slightly smaller. So I guess it didn't cost as much to place this ad. A course in the practical techniques of psychic self-defense. Do you suffer constantly from illness or associated trauma? Do you have trouble sleeping at night? Are you plagued by nightmares or wake feeling worse than when you went to bed? Do you have periods of weakness and depression or suffer from feelings of anxiety more often than you should? Are you constantly around high-pressure groups or dominant personalities? Do you feel as though you've been under attack or are even experiencing phenomena of a supernatural or psychic nature? If the answer is yes to any of the above, then chances are we can help you. We are the Circled Cross Lodge, and we are offering selected techniques on the art and practice of psychic self-defense and self-awareness. Our 1-month course is guaranteed to work as long as you practice the exercises as we prescribe. Each week you will receive new correspondence. These techniques have worked for us in many ways and will also work for you. There is absolutely no reason for you to remain at the mercy of external influences. All inquiries welcome. Now on the bottom, what's it got here? Again, this is something in the old days you'd simply cut out of the magazine, fill out, and send. Although the space provided here for you to fill out your name, address, postcode, and phone are tiny. Oh well. Yes, tick this box, I guess. Yes, I'm interested in learning the practical techniques of psychic self-defense. Enclosed is my check/money order for $50, payable to the Circled Cross Lodge, P.O. Box 2119, Southport, Queensland, 4215. And a few more to wrap up. This is so much fun. There are many more in this magazine, but there's just too many to cover. What do we have here? What do we have here? Numerology. Businesses are like individuals with their own likes and dislikes, their own habitual patterns. Many businesses have potentials which are never realized simply because the directors are heading upstream rather than downstream. So there you go. Numerology and astrology are ancient sciences which help individuals connect to their true path and fullest potential. The same is true for businesses. The path can be found, the problems resolved, and full potentials realized. Personal consultations are also available. Dr. Neil Hare Kirribilli. And that's in Sydney. And finally, we'll look at the very last page, the back cover, in fact. And believe it or not, it's a huge ad for the 5th Australian Festival for Mind, Body, Spirit, 1993. Sydney, 24th to the 28th of November, Sydney Exhibition Centre, Darling Harbour. Melbourne, 2nd to the 5th of December, World Congress Centre. Over 200 exhibitors, lectures, workshops, performances, vegetarian restaurant, free catalogue. Special feature, the Year of Indigenous People. Highlights include world-renowned past life therapist Denise Lin, USA. Leading authority on Egyptian shamanism, Nikki Scully, USA. Renowned Native American healer, Ho Shina, USA. Leading writer and authority on psychic sciences, Sasha Fenton, UK. International expert on self-healing, Carol Andrick, USA. Leading transformational speaker, John Harichiran, USA. Magical flute master Tim Wheater, UK. Dr. Sandra Cabot, Australia. Opens 10 a.m. daily, closes 7:30 p.m. except Sunday, 7 p.m. Admissions, adults, $10. Children, $3. Senior citizens, $6. For free advanced program and booking form, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the Secretary. Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, 2/4 Belgrave Street, Manly, New South Wales 2095, or telephone 02 977 1200. Toll free 008 025 216. So there you are, just some of the advertisements featured in this copy of Southern Crossings, Australia's own magazine for the New Age, dated from 1993, and I think that says a lot, actually, that the term New Age really isn't used much on, well, especially magazine covers. Yes, James Randi, you are absolutely right. The New Age is certainly old hat.
Hey, Celestia, are you ready to record Squaring the Strange?
I sure am, Ben. Do we have any weird news to talk about?
Well, did you hear that Richard Saunders became the newest member of the 700 Club?
The 700, the evangelical group of conservatives that tune in to see religious zealot Pat Robertson and send him their life savings?
Close. It's actually the elite group of podcasters that have reached 700 episodes.
Oh, that makes a little more sense. Congratulations from all of us here, Richard. Keep it up.
Yay! Now here's a note from our friends at the Canberra Skeptics. Canberra Skeptics proudly presents Beyond the Panopticon, evidence-based approaches to criminal justice reform. This is on Tuesday the 15th of March from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. The speaker is Dr. Mindy Satiri. In this talk, Dr. Mindy Satiri, Executive Director of the Justice Reform Initiative, will discuss how the evidence shows that most people entering prison usually arrive there because of an underpinning cycle of disadvantage, and that prison both exacerbates and entrenches a broader cycle of disadvantage, which needs to be broken. Sounds like a very interesting talk, a very interesting angle. Look, you can find out more about that talk simply by visiting Canberra Skeptics, the Canberra Skeptics website, which is canberraskeptics.org, or check them out on Facebook, which is, of course, Canberra Skeptics. That talk, once again, is on the 15th of March. Oh, thanks for the champagne, by the way, Stefan, but we made it to the end of 700 episodes.
Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm really just thinking about it. And I haven't even been that involved lately. I'm still exhausted.
Still exhausted, that's right.
But that's probably the champagne. I think it was a high concentration of alcohol in there.
That's why I like, imagine that. That's why I like coming to Stefan Soka's Sirius Studios.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's great to see you, Richard. And I tell you, all the memories and creating this thing from scratch, like the Skeptic Zone, and we did the logo.
That's
and
right. You came up with the name.
Oh yeah, I did too.
We were throwing around all sorts of names, and nothing seemed. Sort of. Does that work? Skep think. Yeah,
that's right.
And then you wrote to me, or I was here. I can't remember. You said the Skeptic Zone, and it was like, of course, ding.
Yeah, that worked really well.
And then you wrote the music,
the logo, and the music, and everything.
Theme.
Yeah, I was heavily involved at episode 1.
That's right.
It was downhill from there.
But that music, everyone knows the music. It's a really identifiable theme. There's the classic version, which sounds like this. Or there's the new modern version, which sounds like this.
It's great. And it was a lot of fun to record and write and everything. But I'm thinking these days I might have to come up with a Cossack version or something. I'm already studying Russian at the moment.
Just in case?
Just in case.
Oh, boy.
You never know which way this is going to go.
So we've got COVID, we've got ridiculous floods, we've got the situation in Ukraine. The world's gone bonkers.
It's a crazy world. And then with all of that, people are getting distracted with crazy ideas and losing focus on what we really need to do as a human race right now, which is to sort everything out.
You know? Right. And we were sort of on the way. I mean, things weren't too bad, compared to history.
Yeah.
And then this blows up. I'm thinking, I can't think, come on, Russia, why don't you just relax? Make the place, invite people in. Great holidays in Russia. Your economy will boom. We can all get along.
The culture is amazing.
Oh, it is. I mean, and the Russian people are wonderful people, of course.
Yeah.
It's just that,
Yeah, geopolitics and the military-industrial complex. And Bill Gates with his graphene nano razor blades. I think that's what's the biggest problem that we got to sort out right now.
If that's the biggest problem. Stefan, great to see you. Thanks a lot for being part of the show for all these years. Thanks for the champagne again. I'll come around here more often because it was this very studio we recorded Solar Flare.
Solar Flare, the radio play, the Space Adventure radio play. No, it was wonderful. And it has been a fantastic journey. And wow, 700 episodes. Seriously, I'm skeptical that it's been 700 episodes because if it's been 700 episodes, I must be a lot older than I feel.
You probably are. It happens that way.
Yeah, actually, when we first started, we both had brown hair and 20/20 vision.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
All right, Richard, thank you. It's what a great celebration, 700. And,
700. Thanks for listening, everybody. But for this week, this is
Stefan Soika
and Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia.
The Skeptic Zone, a miracle of technology. A universe of reason, the Skeptic Zone.
In the early 2000s, the term was coined by a woman named Doreen Virtue, who claimed she had studied under Pythagoras in a previous life. Oh dear. Oh God. And I wrote this and I'm still giggling. Okay.
Sorry, we're recording.
It's okay. I'll just do an edit. That's okay.
Hello?
That's okay.
We're recording.
That's no problem.
That's
no
all right. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know.
That's all right.
No, of course you didn't know. It's no problem.
That's all right. Oh, she's going to be barking, right? Who's she what's she barking at?
No one's here.
Oh, gosh. She was fine. She was like sitting up here nice and quiet. Oh. Okay. That's all right. That's all right.
Not a problem. No, really not a problem. What was I saying? I was
You were
saying...
talking about people who drive in the cars.
Oh, yeah, okay.